Hello students, today you will learn about catalysis. Potassium chlorate when heated strongly decomposes slowly giving dioxygen. The decomposition occurs in the temperature range of 653 to 873 Kelvin. So this is 2 times KClO3 giving 2 KCl plus 3O2. This reaction is shown before you and this occurs as the temperature quite high temperature range, but when a little manganese dioxide is added, the decomposition takes place at a considerably lower temperature range, that is 473 to 633 Kelvin. That means rate of the reaction has become faster, and the added manganese dioxide here, and it remains unchanged with respect to its mass and composition. Substances which alter the rate of a chemical reaction and themselves remain chemically and quantitatively unchanged after the reaction are known as catalysts, and the phenomenon is known as catalysis. Promoters and poisons. Promoters are those substances that enhance the activity of a catalyst. In Haber's process for the manufacture of ammonia, nitrogen and hydrogen react to form ammonia, and here iron is the catalyst and molybdenum acts as promoter. In this reaction, the reactants are in gaseous state and the catalyst is solid. So in such type of reactions, adsorption theory has been proposed to explain the activity of the catalyst. The solid catalyst adsorbs the gaseous reactants. That means the solid catalyst acts as an adsorbent. Now how can this molybdenum increase the activity of the catalyst? Molybdenum helps to increase the roughness of the surface of the catalyst and it increases the free valencies. When the free valencies increase, the adsorption also increases, and when the adsorption increases, the rate of the reaction becomes faster. Now poisons. Poisons are those substances which decrease the activity of a catalyst. For example, carbon monoxide and arsenic. The poisons, they are preferentially adsorbed on the active sites of the catalyst as compared to reactants. So this will decrease the activity of a catalyst. Homogeneous catalysis. Now catalysis is of two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. So here now first of all we'll study about homogeneous catalysis. Here in case of homogeneous catalysis, the reactants as well as the catalyst are in the same phase. For example, sometimes both are liquids and sometimes both are gases. And here few examples are given. Like first example is SO2 and O2 react to form SO3. So here sulfur dioxide and oxygen both are gases, and this is the catalyst. And no, this is also in gaseous state. So both the reactants as well as catalyst are in the same phase, that is gaseous phase. Another example, this hydrolysis of methyl acetate. So here HCl is used as a catalyst. So reactants as well as the catalyst, both they are in liquid state. So such type of catalyst is called homogeneous catalysis. In heterogeneous catalysis, the reactants and the catalyst are in different phases. Some examples are given, like in the first reaction, sulfur dioxide, it reacts with oxygen and forms sulfur trioxide. The reactants are in gaseous state and the catalyst is in solid state. In another example, nitrogen and hydrogen are in gaseous state and the catalyst iron is in solid state. So you can see here that reactants and catalyst are in different phases. So such type of catalysis is called heterogeneous catalysis. In order to explain heterogeneous catalysis, adsorption theory has been proposed. There are 5 steps here. First, reactants get diffused on the surface of catalyst, and then the adsorption occurs. Let's consider that reaction where the catalyst is solid and the reactants are in gaseous state. So on the surface of solid, gas molecules, they get adsorbed on the surface of solid, and after adsorption what happens? The concentration of gaseous molecules on a specific area increases. So when the concentration increases and on that particular area the reactant molecules get a chance to collide with each other more effectively, their bonds will become weak and the reaction will occur. So occurrence of chemical reaction on catalyst surface. Now when the reaction is occurring, first the reactants, they form an intermediate and then they form the products. So formation of intermediate takes place. Then products are formed. When products are formed, products get dissolved. Desorption occurs. Desorption of products from the catalyst surface. And when the desorption occurs, what happens? The surface of the catalyst becomes again free. It becomes available for more reactants to get adsorbed. So this way the reaction will go on. And then the products get diffused away from the catalyst surface. Okay. So this way the adsorption theory consists of 5 points, and step by step all the points they occur. The surface of the catalyst, unlike the inner part of the bulk, has free valencies, which provide the seat for chemical forces of attraction. When a gas comes in contact with such a surface, its molecules are held up there due to loose chemical combination. If different molecules are adsorbed side by side, they may react with each other, resulting in the formation of new molecules. Thus, formed molecules may evaporate, leaving the surface for fresh reactant molecules. This is catalyst surface having free valencies, and A and B are reacting molecules. So in the first step, adsorption of reacting molecules occur. Here adsorption has been shown here, and then intermediate is formed. So this one is intermediate, this one is intermediate, and then the products are formed. This AB is the product, and when products are formed, they get dissolved. Desorption occurs here, and catalyst is again free for adsorption of more reactants on its surface. Two important aspects of the nature of a catalyst. First is activity and the second is selectivity. By activity of the catalyst, we mean its capacity to increase the speed of a chemical reaction. For example, hydrogen and oxygen, they combine to form water in presence of the catalyst platinum. Here platinum is used. But in absence of platinum, the reaction does not occur. So catalyst has this very important property that it increases the rate of a chemical reaction to a great extent. Second very important aspect of catalytic nature is selectivity. The selectivity of a catalyst is its ability to direct a reaction to yield a particular product. For example, starting with hydrogen and carbon monoxide and using different catalysts, we get different products. In these three reactions, the reactants are the same, carbon monoxide and hydrogen, but different catalysts have been used. In the first case, nickel is used and the products are methane and water. In the second case, copper and zinc oxide and chromium oxide are used as catalyst and the product is methanol. In the third case, copper is used as catalyst and the product is formaldehyde or methanol. Shape selective catalysis by zeolites. The catalytic reaction that depends upon the pore structure of catalyst and the size of reactant and product molecules is called shape selective catalysis. Zeolites are a good example of shape selective catalysis. This is because of their honeycomb-like structures. They are microporous aluminosilicates with three-dimensional network of silicates in which some silicon atoms are replaced by aluminium atoms, giving aluminium oxygen silicon framework. Zeolites are being widely used as catalysts in petrochemical industries for cracking of hydrocarbons and isomerization. An important zeolite catalyst used in the petroleum industry is ZSM5. It converts alcohols directly into gasoline or petrol by dehydrating them to give a mixture of hydrocarbons. So that's all about catalysts. Thank you.